Hello and welcome. My name is Derek and I sell physical media on eBay and I make videos about that. This is a sourced video. Alright, that's enough. Stop the music. So I did a longer route yesterday. So I got back a tad after 6, so left a tad after 9. Whatever I say in a video. Actually, I made a video yesterday that is of me walking around here, and then I added another part and another part. Here, you guys can watch that. It never looks good. All right, so here I am. It's a little bit after 9:20. I have a 50-minute drive, about that, 45 to 50. Here's a little tour. A lot of people, no, I won't say, but few people have seen like a little tree line. I'm going to take the phone out by the window. But this is just a little tree line. Cats come back here, critters. Really can't see. You might be able to see, I don't know exactly where I'm pointing at. Between these trees, that'll have a little more water, quite a bit more water in it. It could be about 8 feet across sometimes. And then that just goes all the way, feeds all the way through here. And then there's a waterway that cuts through and goes farther back that way. And then there's a lot more of this water that goes across through here. And in some of my scrapping videos where I'm out sourcing stuff, let's see if I can find that. I said where I live in relation to like a tower, a brick tower. If I can, well, I mean, I know I can see it from here. I'm gonna see if I can see it through the foliage. That was not it. I can see the Matchworks building. You probably can't. The part of that creek. Usually that'll be filled up with water. But I cannot see. I've seen little glimpses of it, but all this foliage is in the way. But so I have a 40-minute drive, and I have no idea what they're working on down there. Probably the tracks. So I'm headed out to Medina. So go out to Fairlawn, Medina, Brunswick, Brook Park, maybe Parma. If I hit it all right, I can get 3 thrift stores or 3 Salvation Armies, and maybe 8 stores. All right. Yeah. I suppose it helps that I'm the only customer in here. So these are the ones at this Salvation Army. So I haven't been here in a month. I do need a sub. That one's pretty hefty. I'll look that one up. All right, back over here. So I'll eyeball most of these. Nothing really. A couple of these Sesame Streets maybe. Some kid stuff. The ACT collection, and it's sealed. Cadism, whichever. What these are, Bollywood stuff. Rocketeer, that soundtrack sells well. Don't find it often. Let's just kind of document to see that, hey, this is what I find. Plus, there's nobody in here. Their prices. So I'll look through all those. I mean, I'm not gonna. No. No. But I just do my, general eyeballing. Can't make these too long. What do we have here? Probably a 90s. 165 is a pretty good indicator that it's a lower end, and it's a technique. So I have a Nakamichi, so all right, got to get to looking. So it's about 6 o'clock or a tad after, downtown Cleveland, going northbound, jamming some corn. The playlist. No, not a. It's still digital, but it's a CD. The playlist version. So this is a 50-mile-an-hour bridge, right? Well, there's a speed limit sign. This lane, you start to scoot until you get to the toward Dead Man's Curve. And then Progressive Field, and Jacobs Field, Cleveland Indians, which are doing pretty good this year. Had three. The players that went to the All-Star game did pretty well. After I pass this, gotta concentrate more. So on my route there, so I went to Copley, Medina, Brunswick, Strongsville, Brook Park, Parma, and then back home. So of roughly like the 8 stops there are, I got stuff at 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it was, I put it in, I think it was like $70. So this stuff here, I got, these glasses were from a couple of days ago. The day before. And I got a couple of CDs that are not in here. Those are already in a CD stack. But these glasses I got at the miscellaneous barn. So I'll show these kind of quick. And then I'm going to do the screen record for some of these just to kind of help explain to other people on how I use the eBay app. So these are called Tom Ford. Tom, T-O-M, Ford as in the car manufacturer. And these are Marshall, TP929. They can hit $300 new. Yeah, they still sell used for $200 to $250. $2. And these are Costa del Mar. Like an older style, just by the style and how they are. They're a brown orange tortoise. These are called Grand Catalina GC10. These are 100 to 150 plus. $2. Here comes the train. So while that's doing that, probably not going to make any noise. I'll get these 3 together, put those like that. Oh, and these Pink Floyds. All right, so it's kind of pretty exact, sometimes somewhat a little off. That one's not going to go hoot hoot. A hoot hoot. Nope, not that one. So I set the phone to not turn off at a minute. So when I get to the ones where it's going to be more reasonable to do the screen record, I will. You kind of see on how so there's no barcode on this, right? There's a World of Warcraft. I've sold these things before. soundtracks mainly, but it's franchise and it's definitely a collector market. World of Warcraft, Magic, Dungeons and Dragons, Warhammer, all those. If you find anything within those realms, definitely give it a look up. But this is a 2004 soundtrack. Most people, the listings I've looked at, call it vanilla. I'll get into that. So here we have a Ride the Wall, Paul Revere and the Raiders. We gotta get out of this place if it's the last thing. Oh, okay. So this is Born to Be Wild. Born. Who was that? George Thorogood. Hey, Mrs. Robinson, and that was Simon Garfunkel. California Dreamin', Mamas and the Papas, Satisfaction, Rolling Stones. I mean, so this is a cover, them covering. Oh, well, here we go. John Fogerty, Fortunate Son. I am not a senator's son. I'm not a fortunate son. That's a war song, Vietnam War era. More Fogerty, Stephen Stills. So I just watched the Pawn Stars. Pawn Stars. And I don't know exactly when he bought it, right? But Rick bought a guitar that was like a 70 to 100 grand that was used by Stephen Stills or something. It was an real expensive guitar. Born to Be Wild, Paul Simon, Miss Robinson, Phillips and Phillips, California Dreamin'. Yeah. Mick Jagger, Rolling Stones. So, grab this one, and they come up and they sell. And these ones are signed too. But it looks like at least 1, 2, 3, 4. And that other one I have, what's it called? Not a record, I forget what it's called, but it's a much rarer CD. And that one's up for like $350. These ones only sell for like $20 or $30 signed. So I'll put that one with the other one. I won't really change the price. I'll just add the two. I'll just add this to that. It wasn't my intent when I got it because I just saw that. And I'm like, huh. All right. Strictly Business soundtrack. So I'm not going to do the screen record, but I am going to bring these up because a lot of these I just, I don't remember. Because it was yesterday. It's just an easy. All right, $15, roughly, Strictly Business soundtrack. So that I believe I got at Salvation Army, so it would have been $1. The Spill Canvas. This we have is 25 to 33. I may have just grabbed it because it's listed for that. No, 2 have sold for 14 and 16. So if they go any higher than that, I will, use Terapeak. And it could be a $20, $25 CD. But at 15, it's enough for me to pay $1 for. That one I believe is better. That one is better. This Dust video game thing, $12, $15, if I remember right. Maybe a little more. This is Olivia Newton-John and Soul Kiss. Reminds me of Soul Glow. So 14 listed. Third lowest right there is about $18. 2 have sold for $10 and some change. Probably paid $1. Avril Lavigne, Goodbye Lullaby. $10. So if I paid $1, it's something that will sell fast. Now I'll pay that like, oh, it's only $10. If it sells fast, if it's something that's likely to sell fairly quick, if anything, I have another fairly rare Avril Lavigne 2-disc, a deluxe edition DVD and CD. That anything, if I wanted to, So there's 18, let's see here. There's 18 listed going to sold, and 14 have sold, and $8. And they go as high domestically, not brand new. So they're like 10, $12. Yeah, I'll probably put that one with the other one. That would make a little more sense. I believe I still have it. Crystal Gale. It's a different one that I'll do the screen record for. Verve. Verve Storm Heaven. They're still like $20. I know I didn't hand type that. Maybe I was thinking it was like the Verve pipe. Which who was that who did? Why did two bands have to come out with those names back in the '90s? Whichever one sang Freshman, the band played up here at the Menor Civic Center. They do like a rock fest throughout the summer. I don't know who they had one. They have one called the Red Knot Chili Peppers that's playing, I think, in like the end of August. But either way, I mean, it's still about a $15 CD. It goes from $11 all the way up to a little more. So maybe I thought it was the Verve or the Verve pipe. This is Natalie Kills. I believe I had to hand type this one. At that, it's $15 or $30. One has sold for about 15. Natalia Kills. Supremes, I believe that's a better one. Joni Eareckson Tada. So there's 3 listed. This one's sealed. One has sold brand new for $20. Might be a little more, but $20. Classical, Maria Joa Pierce. So there's 6 listed. I sneezed quite a bit, like right before I started this, so now my nose is starting to run. Catch him. 3 has sold. Brand new, $63. I'll look that one up later. So these 3 right here is a band called 18 Visions. How can I read that? I can't. 18 Visions. This other one, this really kind of fuchsia color, mix of pink and purple, is also 18 Visions. I scanned it and it came up good. This one of these is like $30. The other ones are like 12 something. They don't really. One of them sells a whole lot. The other ones don't. This is all 3 go together type thing. It's David Gilmour, early David Gilmour. So if you look at any Pink Floyd now or David Gilmour on YouTube, I mean, he's older, few wrinkles, lots of gray hair. So this was at 1984, 1978. So, I mean, Pink Floyd is already around, so Gilmour was just doing his own gig. So I listened to both of them. Not really if you're expecting a Pink Floyd-esque type musical experience, these 2 are not it. They have some melancholic type feel to it, but not it. Those I got the other day at a Goodwill. We'll go the Runner's Bible, the Commands and Promises of Holy Scriptures. This would have been $2. I think they are like $20, $25. This is an older one. Dear Betty, I don't think Sue is the author. Nora Holm is. So this was inscripted to someone else. This is 1943, 38th printing. Like $20. When they sell, it's enough for me to pay the $2 for. Here we have Charlie. This one's sealed. And they're about $20, give or take $20. So this would have been Salvation Army. So that would have been $1. I believe it was there. So in the video you just saw before starting, looking at watching all this here, I took pictures of, I believe there were 3 of the things that I had got. And then the last stop I didn't. I just, at that point, I was like, no, I want to get back, get home. Here we have Twist of Fate, the Matt and Jeff Hardy story. So there's 40 listed. I'm at 114 listed. 9 of those 114 are new. When I see that, that's a great ratio. I'll be like, all right, well, they're listed used for like $9-10. Let's go into the condition. When I see that ratio, 1/10, less than 1/10 are new, and it's some wrestling stuff like this and the Hardy and $20, $25. And no matches. I'll bet you someone will buy it sometime. And that's just on scan. It might be a little less without the scan. Lake Placid. 2. This is all 2 on 2 discs. They had the insert be a little more, but it's like $15-20. Lost, the final season, season 6. Found these a few times. It's just strange because I usually always find Lost open. And the sealed ones that I do find are usually always 6. And these sealed are $30-35. There's 14 listed. And 40 have sold. So can you reasonably list it? So it was 35 it would probably get to closer to 40 within the first 10. But there's 18 that are listed and more than 40 that have sold. So let's go to condition. So there's 181 that have sold, 55 are new. So that's a heck of a ratio. So that's $40. I can list it and just wait. Especially with summer nearing. Well, not really nearing, is going to be coming up very soon. But the holiday buying season is going to be coming up. So a lot of stuff that you list now, if you're like, oh man, I'm going to have to hold on to it for 3, 4, 5 months. The year's buying season it's difficult to say in July, but it's coming up. October starts in November and Christmas. So if there's something you're likely thinking you're going to have to hold on to for 4 or 5, just wait for the buying season. All right, Line Doggy, Foot Soldier in Vietnam, Charles Gadd. I don't really look up a whole lot of wartime books. This would have been the very, besides The Lost, this would have been one I got at the Salvation Army. They do sell like $20, under $20. So I got it. This video now, this has, I forget that one, and I know that's Fairly Odd Parents. So it has Ziggy Ziggy for the video now player game thing. Rocket Power, Teenage Robot, Fairly Odd Parents. And a little something with Michael Jordan. I want to be like Mike. I mean, I believe Michael Jordan's 6'4". I'm 6'4". So I already have that going for me. A little too old for that. All right. This Ren and Stimpy cassette. So I was stopping at yard sales. Out and about. So definitely if I'm out about shopping on, well, any day, if I see a yard sale sign, I will try. I usually don't go to a lot of yard sales. But if it's right there and it's a quick, right or left off the road that I'm on. But I stopped at 4. No one else had anything besides one guy and his wife. So I roll up, I see this. He already has some physical media out. This is this Ren and Stimpy Nickelodeon walking down Abbey Road. You idiot. So this is not as valuable as that one that I got of the Songs from the Back Seat cassette that sold for like 85 bucks. This was only like $15, but I paid a quarter. Paid a quarter. But when I'm talking, I'm like, hey, you know, I also do scrapping. So if you have any chunks of metals you want me to take that's otherwise going to get thrown away, no, 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 no. It's basically what I got from them. It's like the other thing that I do is e-waste. And he raises his head. She looks at him. Well, I got a printer and a light and some other stuff on her printer. I didn't really dig through the box. But it turns out that when I was like, oh, yeah, I'm all the way from, you know, I'm from up in Mentor. And at this point, where was I at? I was like in the Parma area. And I was like, yeah, I'm up in Mentor. She's like, oh, I grew up in Mentor. I was like, all right, where? She goes, off Johnny Cake. So Johnny Cake from me is southeast. It's not too far. It's a longer road, but Johnny Cake and Old Johnny Cake Road. Or right here around the corner. And she's like, where at? I said, on Hart. And then it took her a couple minutes. She goes, oh, I'm down by Station Street. I was like, yeah, I mean, Station's right there. Road tracks are right there. And she told me that her uncle lived in a duplex, like, oh, by the big water tower thing. She goes, yeah, it's right there. The water, like an above ground cistern. It's not a water tower. It still holds water, but she's like, yeah, that's exactly it. It's like, yeah, I can probably, if I was any good at golf, I can hit the ball twice and then hit that place. She's like, oh, so either way. So I got that for a quarter and some free stuff. All right, La Voyage Magnificence. All right, so let me go ahead and go on the screen record because these are the ones I'm going to find to be of importance. Screen record. Start. All for one and one for all. For Roger Merritt. I actually saw this and I thought it was called Grand Theft Auto, but it's Grand Theft Audio. This was from 1995, so I don't know, was Grand Theft Auto out? The first one is PS1. I played 2. Top down. Pretty tacky. And it was strange because I didn't really like... That one was interesting, but it just wasn't my drive. It wasn't my drive. Who's gonna drive you home tonight? Roger Merritt. Roger Miret. All for. All for. $15. No matches. Did I buy this one to listen to? Because there are a lot of songs on here. So I don't know who Roger Merritt is, but this is showing at least 48. I don't think they're 48 full tracks. Now listen to this one later. So if anything, if it sells, it's like $10. The Supremes, New Ways But Love Stays. Well, that's a pretty good turnout for a CD. Just looking at CDs and doing scans, right? The Supremes, like, oh yeah, it's an older CD. The CD itself is with a year. I'm not going to break my eyes trying to find. It might be on the disc. Well, this is Motown, 1991. So Motown, a lot of their releases are pretty good. Supremes. Ways Stays. Ways Stays. 71. CDs. Still $35. Right on. So if I go hit this hyphen, this minus, and then type the word directly on that hyphen, and now it's going to exclude that. So there's 8. Now this is typing. To have sold 25 and 40. So I'll take this here. So I just saw that they are listed high, knowing that it's a bigger band, and I probably did. I mean, I'm trying to remember. I don't think I did. I may have actually hit the sold. I'm like, all right, well, it does sell. Or I was curious, like, does it actually sell for 35, 40 bucks? 59, go to lowest first. Go into CDs, or highest first for price, and go into condition. Click all those. Same thing. 60 bucks, 67, 41. So 50 bucks is probably going to be the more, unless this disc is absolutely mint, which it looks like it is. Yeah, absolutely mint. Now it's getting listed for 60, 65 bucks. Aside of there being a remainder hole, a remainder mark through here and through the booklet, mint disc. Very clean case. Clean enough, minimal wear. 60 bucks, right? Crystal Gale. No barcode. Joy Inspiration. You're the meaning to my life. You're my joy inspiration. Really love somebody. Joy. Gale Joy. Nah, Joy's a female name. Joy Inspiration. CD, 30 bucks. 55. 5. Crystal Gale, but she's an old singer. People don't want to buy old singer stuff. Almost 50 bucks brand new. So the ones that were listed used, track, were priced decent enough. $45. So we got to go back into categories to ensure, and a lot of times I will narrow it down exactly like this. It's still a $20, $25 CD. Can I do believe I have another Crystal Gale that I haven't listed yet. But stuff that's basically new listings that are basically over $15, that's where my listing point is. If they start getting to like 10, 11, 9 for something that I have, a lot of times I'll just add it with something else. Not a lot of times, because I really don't do that whole lot, because most of the stuff that I do buy is $15 or more. I mean, there will be those oddball things I'll get that's going to be less. Drac. And this is, I still have a couple more. Something Rotten, a new very merry, or whatever it's called, a very new musical. When you love somebody. 40 bucks, 45, 50 new, 51 pre-owned. So this I'm going to hand type. Something Rotten. Cast. That ideally that's how you want to put it. You cast recording. Something Rotten, very new musical. Put that in there. You could probably type everything as long as it fills. You're not using all 80 characters for everything that's on the front of this. Same things. $16. And I mean, they're at 22 bucks. 30 bucks. There's 4 listed within that price range, right? Or whatever I just showed. Go back here. A couple more books I have to find. These right here. Well, I mean, I know where they're at. I just have to take them out of the boxes. Those aren't drafts. Derek doesn't do drafts. No, those are drafts of stuff that I took down. So when I'm doing my sell similars for stuff that I've called and I'm doing all that, I'm not going to explain on how I do all that sale and pricing and all that. When I have all these 200 things that are in the inactive, I will click on it to do a sell similar. If I choose to list it then it goes out of draft. If it doesn't get listed, it stays in draft, and then I just go to my draft area right there, and then I can see on which box or bin or whichever that item is at, and then when I get that item, I delete it from the drafts. Using the same tools differently. But that's not allowed. eBay is going to ban you for doing that. Just kidding. Just kidding. Ha ha. $50 still. Easily $50. And he saw whatever the amount were that were listed, 3, 4, 5, however many it was, and there were like 30 that sold. Yeah, that could be put at $50. Yeah, absolutely mint. That type of condition of a disc right there can be a $20 difference in a disc. A little hair scratch, maybe not so much, but much of like heavier use, it can be that different. Well, it usually is. But that is so negligible in this stuff here. It's like, oh, yeah, it's $10 different. Well, yeah. But if you had shoes or clothes or something, I don't know. I don't sell that stuff. Deborah Allen, Anthology. So I don't know who she was, and I didn't recognize her. I don't recognize the name, but my thought was she's made enough to make it an anthology. It's like someone's greatest hits. Definitive. Like, I have no idea who they are, but there's 2 discs in this definitive edition set. I have no idea who they are. They've made enough music to have 2 full discs of greatest hits. That's going to warrant me to look it up. All right, Deborah Allen. Deborah Allen. And Anthology. 7. Mid-30s. One has sold $40. Mid-30s is the pretty much mean listed price. So that works for me. Oh, and set my payout right there, my total balance right there, $50 going into a Saturday. Or $500. But stranger things have happened. I'm just kind of used to, the payouts just not where they should be. That's been that way for months. So it's still $40, regardless. You guys are seeing this right here. Still a $40+ CD. All right, so we have World of Warcraft. So if you type in World of Warcraft soundtrack, World Warcraft soundtrack, you're going to get a whole lot, because there's a soundtrack that came with pretty much each expansion. So even if I type in, because I know I have this Chaos one, minus Chaos, 155. That's not going to do me any good at all. I could type in 2010 or minus 2010. Here comes another train. Oh, that's a plane. All right, so there's that too. Not a whole lot. There's a Burke Lakefront Airport, probably 15 miles west, like just outside of the east side of downtown. So every once in a while, I mean, they don't use that airport a whole lot. They do. There's air shows. So sometime in the summers when they have the air shows from here, because this is going to be a big turning point where a lot of the aircraft will turn around at. I mean, most of the time they turn around over Lake Erie, which would make sense in case there's any issues. You have the lake to dump your aircraft in. But a lot of times you'll hear them coming and going. And you can look out and see a lot of these old planes and Texans and stuff. All right, so these right here that I'm showing isn't really narrowing it down. But what I did have to do to narrow it down is I looked on the back. I'm like, all right, it's 2004. Most people are going to want to write that to ensure that they have what they. Holy, what the? Yup. That's what I saw. Oh, you can list it all you want for that. Doesn't mean people are paying it. 8 hats sold. 70, 90, 115. Oh, but yours isn't brand new. Ha ha ha. You thought you had me there. All right, man. That's used. All of them are used. Ah, but you don't have it price highest first. Ha ha ha. Thought you got me. All right, well, these are listed at lowest first. The lowest recent sold is priced right there. The highest of recent, that's the whole box. But this one right here, the second to the bottom, 150 bucks, 135 bucks. Okay, I give up. Maybe I should actually watch people who just make simple enough videos to explain stuff. I don't do the theatrics for the social media and videos and stuff. 1,025 or 1,250, I should say. That's gonna be a whole thing right there. Let's go into CDs. 187 for the lot. 175, 190, 180, 150 seal. Somebody got a deal. 150, 150, 140, so 150 plus. A very, very clean case. And I have this other one, which it's like $15. Right? So if it would have just been this one for $1, $1.50 for the CD, I still would have paid for it. But I got this one. Very, very clean case. Absolutely mint disc. So that is going to be an easy put these two up for just under 200 bucks. So now you have an idea on how I use the eBay app, and a lot of people use it that way, but I use Terapeak on the app, product research. It's a crutch that's not really a crutch. I use it to help, but that is when I need verification on things. More of an affirmation, like, yeah, they do sell in that 90-day range. I wouldn't have to go into Terapeak, but I did for this one here, just so I could see, like, oh yeah, those other sales aren't a joke. Like I just did. Plus, I like to make fun of the make-believe person who is just mocking me. I wasn't mocking you. Oh, sit down. Told him. All right, so 1570, 2960. So we're going to go 30 and 14. Right, 44, 45 in the middle, 45 and 12 is 70 or 57. We'll call it 58 with that little change. And then another 7 is 65. I don't know how I got 70 bucks. Oh, because I added those glasses in. So for those, for pretty much of everything that's here, and I believe there's 31 that I had added up on here. So that is like $2 average, but there's some pretty good stuff. It was a little longer route, and if I had gotten more stuff at the other stores where I didn't get anything, I still would have tried to be back maybe a little later, and I maybe would have saved savers for when I go out and about in that general, but not quite that far. But I would go to that one store and then work my way back home. Start at the farthest store, work your way closer. That way, if the time comes and you don't want to go to the very last store, the one place that you have to go now is the closest to you from where you were just at. There's one exception when I really don't do that, which I might actually do that for when I go down to like the Worcester and Orville, Rittman, Wadsworth, that area. Start at the farthest one, which is like an hour and a half. But there's like 6-7 stores if I include the Salvation Army I was just at in Fairlawn. That's all on me. But so that's going to wrap that one up. Like what you heard, like what you saw, like what you learned. No barcode. Franchise. Did I know that just looking at this, just picking this up, and like this is going to be a $150 CD? No. There's no barcode, so I'm going to have to look it up. But it is franchise. So definitely definitely helps to build that. A lot of this other stuff I did have to, a few things I did look up, uh, go through, but for the most part, it's just scanning and just saying like, yes, they're listed for 15-20 bucks at the minimum, because that's how I have my app, the settings locked. I'm not going to go around and be like most recent or XYZ or nearest to me, or I only want to see this, or default listings. I want to see what they're listed at for, currently listed at the lowest. All that other stuff isn't going to do me any good. I want to know, are they $8 at the lowest price, and are they 18? And then when I hit sold, what's the lowest that they've sold for in 90 days? Oh, and I just scroll to like the 6th, 7th, 8th one in the recent solds. Oh, it's $17. Yeah, I'll pay $1 for that thing. But they sold for 7. Yours is going to sell for 6. No, it doesn't. Let's go to wrap that one up. Oh, I already did that. All right, so thumb me thing going up. Comment down below. Subscribe, share. It was all free. It'll help me, help you, so we can help other people learn how to find and list and sell physical media on eBay. Appreciate it. Thank you.